When designing and building a truly distinctive structure, the pursuit of excellence, well, it takes left-field thinking. And that's particularly difficult when the brief calls for a blend of science, art, culture, and technology. But that's when nature steps in to lend a hand. Here in Singapore, it's clear the city has added to its reputation as one of the world's busiest ports to become a mecca for travellers and design aficionados alike. In amongst the jungle of towering glass and steel sits a delicate flower. Or is it a hand? It's the Singapore ArtScience Museum, designed by the firm of world-famous architect Majestic. Sydney has their opera house, and that iconic building is often wanted to be replicated in other cities. Have you tried to create an iconic building here?
Well, we set out to make a very special building, and it became iconic. Our office, headed by Moshe and team, looked at options. What could it be? You know, what does Singapore need? Because it was an opportunity to do something different, which would look like an art piece, but has all the sciences behind it to construct it. With the galleries above, which are in those figures.
Hang on, that looks like the building right there. Did someone put up their hand and go, Eureka? That's it?
It looks simple. That's the charm, isn't it? It started with a sphere in the water. You start taking slices of the sphere to see how it works. What does it look like? It ended up being like a palm, open palm, or a lotus. That's what people call it. It didn't start with us calling it open palm or lotus or welcoming hand or bananas.
How do you take that?
It's good. I mean, it's people, you know, they say it with love. They don't say it with hatred. When the form was agreed on, the question was, how do you support this to the ground? You know, a heavy object like that. So we looked at different ways. We looked at nature, you know, mangroves, you know, how the roots spread out.
The roots of this futuristic building extend underground, supporting the weighty petals above, in a technically advanced and awe-inspiring diagrid structure. This is just absolutely striking. This space is inspiring.
This is the main feature of the museum. It connects the inside to the outside.
There's a lot happening in this space, although quite simple. It's got water, it's got structure, and you can see that we were talking earlier about science and technology coming together here, and the poetry of the building locking together.
Once we knew that the building was going to be complex curve, like double curve building, we had to look at materials that had to look like shell, like seamless.
And isn't it delightful seeing a flat sheet of water with the ripples that are coming from the water on the roof?
Yeah, it makes it very dynamic. So the dish at the top collects the water, the petals and all, and through this big oculus, it just comes down, straight down into this little pond. And that really connects you to the nature.
You could have done this building many different ways, but the form of it, and in fact, the way it fits into this precinct, is quite different to the rest of town. So is it your intention to change the way people look at buildings? Because it does it for me.
I don't think that we start with that intent, that people should look at the buildings differently. I think it ends up that way.
The ArtScience Museum set out to blend the polar opposites of technology and art. By embracing nature and a clever use of materials, it's resulted in redefining the landscape. If ever there was a building that says tomorrow and gives us a taste of the future, it's here.